What up, Mula gang? So the kids that a lot of people think killed Nolan Wells, the kids that were last seen with Nolan Wells on that island before he came up dead, they did another interview. And we just reacted to the first part of that interview in the last video right before this video. So go watch that one. My name is Mula. I do reactions to a lot of different type of stuff. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more reactions just like this. I'm known for keeping it real. I don't do no capping. I don't do no sugarcoating. I don't do none of that shit. And I'm gonna do the same in this video. Let's get it.
No. These boys is regretting this interview, bro, because when the experts, the behavioral scientists, the journalists, when the experts got a hold of this interview, bro, they broke it down. They psychoanalyzed. They unraveled this interview to the core.
Ex-Officer Tatum has once again returned to Mississippi to interview the young men that were with Nolan Wells on the day he went missing and then ultimately was found deceased. There's a lot in this interview that I want to get into and break down, so let's get into it.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. So what do you guys think about that audio?
From this very first question, I start wondering, is ex-Officer Tatum being paid by the attorneys that represent these young men or the young men's families themselves?
He's not, it's not necessarily, I don't know if they're necessarily paying him, but I do know that first of all, he has a white wife, and he's obviously racist against his own people. Let's just throw that out there, okay? He said plenty things to show you that he's racist against other black people, okay? So he wants to push a certain narrative. Oh, white people ain't did nothing wrong. That nigga died because he a nigga, right? I'm talking about all time. He just came out and said Nolan was on cocaine, all type of crazy shit, right? So I don't think, maybe they're not paying him directly, like here goes $100,000 to do this interview. But what is happening is there's a business relationship. If you go over to Officer Tatum's page, right? And we're gonna get it deeper to the video. I want to break this down, okay? If you go over to Officer Tatum's page, you can see he's getting 9 million views a week. That's about $90,000. I'm gonna give you guys that real sauce, okay? So he's getting all these videos. Look, part 1, part 2. He's getting tens of thousands of dollars just for sit down and doing this interview. And he wants to keep doing the interview. So he's not going to ask the questions that we all have. He's going to ask the questions to fit a certain narrative and pander to the racist ass people that want the black person to just shut the fuck up about dying and nobody's supposed to care.
Because that is a question that is very loaded, and it's leading towards innocence. It lets the interviewees know that the interviewer has a bias. And thus it's more about getting out a narrative than finding the truth.
But they keep going back to Officer Tatum. They keep going back to him.
Nobody else.
This has been the issue that we have had from day one. Tatum and his defenders will say, why do you have a problem with him just seeking answers? He's not seeking answers if the questions he's asking is already tinted with a bias of, I think you're innocent.
Right.
Ask the questions, whatever answers they give.
Next question.
Right? We live with it, right? Right? We can't blame you for their answers if you asking questions, but when you ask the questions as if, hey, I believe you're innocent, prove these niggas wrong.
Right.
Like, come on, man.
Right.
What?
That's not journalism. Journalism is, I'm trying to find out the truth. I don't know if you're lying. I don't know if you're telling the truth, but I'm going to ask you the hard questions. I'm going to ask you the easy questions. I'm going to ask you the questions you don't want to hear because I'm trying to find out the truth. And if you don't want to answer them and that make you look suspicious, then so be it.
Just, go sit down with a neutral platform. Go sit down with somebody who is neutral, who don't have a bias, who don't think you're innocent or don't think you're guilty, who just want to look at the facts of the case, survive that interrogation, and then we can talk.
Right.
But if the only interviews you've done is with Tatum, and Jay Marie already exposed that Tatum is linked to this person, that's linked to that person, that's linked to Turning Point, that's linked to this person's parents.
The Tatum is linked to all them white boys' parents somehow, some way. So
he's too connected. He's on the inside. He knows you guys already, bruh.
Of course.
So this interview, like, I'll be real with y'all, y'all would have been better off just interviewing yourselves.
No cap.
Tatum being implemented in it, you lose all trust automatically.
Have you ever needed your paycheck to just come a little early? Like, yeah, you get paid on Friday, but it's Tuesday and you need the money now. There's a banking app called Current, and they got a whole bunch of super useful features on this app. And one of the best features is it lets you access up to $750 of your paycheck early if you qualify. With Current, you get a full list of features like paycheck advance, fee-free overdraft, the bill card, and more. Now, paycheck advance is my favorite, but if you focused on building credit, or if you just want a smoother way to manage your money, it handles everything in one app. And I know how I feel for your paycheck to be coming Friday, but you need your money Monday, and it's an emergency, and you need that money now, and you can't get that money now because you gotta wait, but you can't wait. And that's why I partner with them. And right now, they're giving $75 to anybody who signs up for the Current app using the link that's in my description or scanning the QR code that's on the screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign-up page where you can create your account. Just go through the normal sign-up steps, enter your information, and order your Current card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option that pops up to enter my promo code. And that promo code is going to access your $75 when you switch your direct deposit. Make sure you go through the full sign-up process so you do not miss out on the $75. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful or even just tight sometimes, it's definitely worth just checking out because that's literally what it's designed for. Helping people just like you stay more on top of your finances.
Now, I want to be clear. I do not know what these boys did or did not do, but when you release videos like this, you open yourselves up to a certain level of scrutiny that was not there before. Right. And that question doesn't sound like you are interested in an unbiased answer. No. You ask the question in a biased way that makes the interviewees feel more comfortable.
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat, you know, as it's rolling, not rolling, but right there sitting in the water, Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something? Or scrambling around, or everybody in a small space on the boat looking at him or something. I mean, it's just so crazy to think that, why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat?
To be very clear, when you are professing your innocence and you are passionately talking about your alibis and talking about how you would never do this and strongly advocating for you did not do this, that is not in and of itself proof of innocence.
Right.
We can think about many, many cases where people have advocated and said like they did not do anything.
Right.
I think about Rafael Palmeiro, who was testifying in front of Congress during the steroid trials for baseball, holding up his finger and saying, I have never used steroids. Then it turns out he did test positive and negatively ruined his legacy. Also, Lance Armstrong, maybe the most passionate defender of his own truth, of his own innocence. Turns out he was actually cheating and lying the whole time.
Correct. They don't understand that no matter how much you tell us,
nothing you can say, bro.
We're innocent, we didn't do this, it would take the investigation being concluded. It would take the grand jury. It would take a conclusion to this for people to say, okay, you're not going to talk loud enough or make enough threats to get people to stop considering you a suspect.
Exactly.
That's just not going to happen. You are a suspect until further notice, bro.
Right.
And that's just the way it's going to be.
That's just how it is, bro.
Right? Don Lemon told him, bro, you should be hiring like a crisis PR team, not a defamation attorney.
Exactly.
Who can't really list the defamation.
Can't even say
that's been done upon you guys, right? Like, you know, they like brought this guy to sit in during the interview,
and then say
talking.
Nothing.
The guy is like tapping his cap.
Yeah.
I don't know the reason why a lawyer will be there like tapping his cap suspiciously. Now it could very well be, you know, he's tapping the cap to kind of steer and direct them in an interview. But even that is like suspicious and quite odd. But saying, you know, people defamed you, but not really listing the actual defamation claims while asking people to apologize for the claims is absurd.
Ain't nobody did no damn defamation.
It's absurd.
You clown.
It's not helping your case. Going after the mother during this interview is not helping your case. It's making you guys look even more like villains.
Right.
A crisis PR team is what they need, not a defamation attorney, not Trump's attorney.
In the internet, in the bowels of the internet. But when they were asked in the interview to give specifics, and we're going to play it for you in a minute, specific examples of what had actually happened to them in public.
Random side note, I like this nigga's setup back here. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's the lights or what it is. You know, I
Got
like
a
that.
little fuzzy. Now, look, I don't know who's advising them. As I said yesterday, in my opinion and my experience doing this, they're not getting good advice.
No,
now, if they look, hey guys, it's easy. You know, you can get to me. It's easy. My information is out there. You need a good crisis PR person. Yeah. I can give you a handful, if not 10, of a good crisis PR person who will either tell you what to say and not to say, or just advise you most of the time to STFU.
Right. Shut the hell up.
Because as many people as there are in the world, that's how many opinions there are. And you're going to hear all of them on the internet.
And you can't do anything about it. You literally can't. You can't, right? Your attorney, who's Trump's powerhouse attorney, them sitting within that interview telling people, oh, it's going to hurt. We're going to get you and it's going to hurt. You won't be able to do anything about it. Bro, that don't help your case. Bro, all that does is turn people off against you, man.
Right.
Right? All that does is scream privilege. You got Donald Trump's attorney. What type of regular kids is getting Donald Trump's attorney to represent them? That already screams privilege. Like, people look at that and they already think spoiled brats. Spoiled rich kids.
It's nothing wrong. It's nothing. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I'm a rich nigga. My kids ain't gonna be spoiled, but they gonna be spoiled. Like, my kids not gonna be spoiled in the sense of, like, whenever you want a Bentley, you just get it and I just get you whatever. Hell no. But you're gonna be spoiled to the point where, nigga, you have access to things that I dreamed of having access to as a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with spoiled rich kids, personally. I wish I was a fucking spoiled rich kid that lived in the suburbs in a gated community with big ass cribs and golf carts and shit. Okay? So I ain't hating on the spoiled rich kid. What I'm pushing back on is, I don't know, bro. I just know that if my best friend ended up passing away, like how these niggas' best friend, Nolan Wells, ended up passing away, and people were accusing me of something, and I know I didn't have nothing to do with it, I don't give a fuck about suing nobody for defamation. I care about finding out what happened to my friend. If I don't know nothing, right? If I'm innocent and I don't know shit, I want to know what happened to my friend. I don't care to go get Donald Trump's lawyer and get on interviews and talk this and say that so I can get a defamation case and get me a little bit of extra money. I'm not going to use my friend's death as an opportunity to sue some niggas and get some money for it. Especially, and if I do that, I'm not going to do that until the case is concluded. I'm not going to file any defamation lawsuits or none of that shit. I'm not going to start no GoFundMe's or none of that bullshit. I'm not going to do none of that until I find out what the fuck happened to my friend. Then I might come out and be like, yeah, y'all got me fucked up, and I'm giving some money, and I'm going to give some of this money to his mama, and that's just me. That's everybody don't move like that.
You know, like the rich and fortunate. To be able to pick up your phone and get Donald Trump's attorney to come and defend you during an interview.
Right.
Come on, man. You're making yourself the villain.
Exactly.
Just
trying to be the victim.
Or go sit down with a neutral platform. At this point, just be quiet.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't say nothing.
So these boys saying, like, don't you think that if we had done something, we wouldn't have done this? It just reeks of, like, not understanding that just because you are passionately trying to convince me of something it's not even passionate, though. That it's not true. And there's a lot more here we're going to get into, but I just want to make sure that you highlight, like, the investigation needs to pull out real evidence of what happened or what didn't happen, and someone saying they didn't do it is not evidence of innocence.
I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody?
I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, and it is boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture, everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were, in the video, you can see me, I'm sitting on the bow. if there was someone dying on the boat, why would everybody just be sitting there waiting to either get towed in or in the first place, like Jack said, why would Wyatt call Cito? It's crazy. The reason we turned down Coast Guard is, why would we call Coast Guard if Cito could pull us in? But we fixed the boat and we ran into Fort Bayou, and that's it. The Cito call was completely enhanced, and these people just want to believe what they want to hear. And that's exactly what they're doing. So
if I were doing this interview, here's a question I would ask. Who was recording your boat?
Right.
Why were they recording your boat at that exact moment? Because it could be a suspicious activity, like you guys are trying to establish an alibi. And lastly, couldn't Nolan have been on that boat? That question was not asked, so we do not know what these young men...
You hear the last question? I'm trying to find that clip at the same time that I'm listening to.
They have to...
What the hell? Oh, I think my fucking keyboard died, so we can't go back.
Realize that sitting down with Officer Tatum is doing more harm than good.
Plug it up over here.
You see how that brother right there was able to just hear what they said and just formulate doubts and holes in like whatever they said like that fast?
Right.
That's what a seasoned interviewer is supposed to do. A seasoned interviewer is supposed to conduct the interview where when you leave the interview, you're not left with anything else. Y'all sit down for 3 hours, discuss everything, ask every question, ask every rebuttal, ask every devil's advocate.
Exactly.
Have them sit through everything.
Exactly.
And afterwards, there's really no question left to ask.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no other alternative left to explore. The internet at that point will have to determine, okay, do we believe him or do we not believe him?
Right.
And then wait for the investigation. But every time you pop up on something new, they threatened to take our life like at the restaurant. And then the homie next to you say, I didn't hear them threatening to take our life.
Ain't nobody threatening shit. But for everybody that didn't see my last video, they came on an interview and said they are threatening our life. My life was threatened. Do you know how serious of a claim that is? They said my life was threatened. And then they told the story on how their life was threatened. And I shit you not, this is the story. A girl walked up to Warren and said, "Is this you? You look familiar." Then left, came back with a TikTok on her phone of the interview that he did, the first interview he did with Officer Tatum. He came back and said, "This is you. Isn't this you?" And then a bystander who was in the restaurant said, "If I was y'all, I would just leave because they don't play about this shit in this town. I'm trying to look out for y'all." Then they left. That was the threat on their life. Don't that shit sound like they trying to get sympathy? Because nothing happened to y'all. Only thing happened was a girl walked up and said, "Is this you?" That ain't no fucking... There's nowhere on the earth. That shit don't even fly on Pluto where you can say that's a threat against your life.
Heard one guy tell us it's probably best that we leave because these other people, like might be on some nonsense. Right? But this brother right here is really articulating the reason why they needed to sit down with somebody thorough. Because a season, for example, Nancy Grace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Nancy Grace would give these kids a fair interview if they wanted it. Like, I'm sure.
Right.
Right? Like, she'll ask the tough questions. Right? Like, she'll come across as tough, but she'll ask the right questions.
Right.
And she'll have rebuttals, and she'll concede on certain things. And if they are truly innocent, if they truly did nothing wrong, it shouldn't even matter
what they
who they sit down with.
Exactly.
They should feel comfortable walking in with Trump's powerhouse attorney next to him. They should feel comfortable walking into any environment.
Exactly.
Yo, ask me whatever you want to ask me. I'm here. What's up?
Exactly.
Yo, what's up with Damn It Bart? Yo, why was they saying, "Oh my God, he's dead"? Who was you talking about?
Right.
But when Tatum strategically avoids certain questions or avoids certain framings or avoids certain things that make them look terrible,
like niggas want to act like that phone call didn't exist. We heard y'all say, "Oh my God, is he dead? Oh my God, no, is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead?" We heard y'all. Clear as fucking day. Why nobody asking y'all that question? Who's dead then?
You now have to wonder, why are they avoiding certain questions? Go sit down with somebody thorough.
It's just crazy to me that people have tried to twist this and twist the audio. When we came out with the first interview, it debunked half these lies, and now you don't hear about any of it. You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies, and now, the audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie, and it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
What's interesting to me here is that they're turning this case into a defamation case.
Exactly.
About the public having their own theories, hypotheses, and ideas about what might have happened on that day to Nolan Wells. And they're turning it to that and away from the actual investigation.
The same shit I said. Y'all turning it into, look, I'm the victim of defamation. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Lord, just stop all the presses. People think they did something. Y'all give a fuck more about this defamation than y'all give a fuck about y'all's dead best friend, ain't it? What it seemed like to me.
Of what might have happened to their friend and brother, as they referred to him.
Right.
And that seems very odd to me.
Me too.
If you really cared about him, you really loved him, you really considered him like a brother, you'd be far more interested in the truth than caring so much about what the public thinks about what
let's take what you're saying as fact. Let's say, because y'all story is that he wasn't even on that boat. He never got back on that boat. When y'all left the island to go back home, he was never on that boat with y'all. That's y'all story. So wouldn't y'all be more concerned? Where's the concern about finding out what happened? If y'all wasn't even around him, which means y'all have no idea how he died, why y'all not trying to find out how he died? Why y'all wasn't outside looking for him when he got reported missing? Why y'all don't get emotional when y'all hear his name? He only been dead a month. Y'all brother, y'all best friend. Why y'all don't get emotional when y'all hear his name? When y'all talk about him? Why did his mom have to use Life 360 to find out the location of his phone if y'all knew damn well y'all had his phone? And I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm not gonna believe that y'all had this dead boy's phone on a fucking boat while he mysteriously was somewhere dying. Y'all had his phone all night, found out he was missing, and stayed in the house. Because if that's my friend and I got his phone and I find out he missing, I'm calling his mama. Mama, what the fuck is going on? I don't know. We got his phone. We haven't seen him since the island. We about to go back to the island right now. We got his phone. I'm coming to your house. Beep, beep, beep. I can't sleep and chill. I can't vibe out my best friend, my brother missing. I can't just be sleeping, chilling in my bed, Tempur-Pedic mattress and everything. Just chilling, right? Catching all the Z's. I can't, and I got his phone right here on next to my Xbox.
May or may not have done. But that clearly isn't the case here. Like, they are very interested on what the public thinks of what they did or didn't do. Right. And so much so that they're turning this into a case about their own perceptions and how people are perceiving them, right, and away from the actual investigation to what may have happened to Nolan Wells on that day.
First of all, with respect to Warren, if you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
Like we haven't seen people kill people and do dumb shit. That we've seen that case so many times. Usually how murderers get caught is they do something stupid. As if everybody who killed their friend is just a perfect criminal who don't do nothing wrong. Okay, so why the fuck are prisons filled with murderers then? Obviously they did something stupid. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe they didn't mean to kill him. Maybe they were play fighting and he hit his head on a rock. I don't know. But we not about to keep acting like just because they called the Coast Guard, they don't know nothing about Nolan Wells.
To call a federal law enforcement agency.
That shit sounds good.
And tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island and look for Nolan Wells? Well, that's exactly what Warren did.
They didn't do that.
Warren called the Coast Guard. And that is one of many very compelling facts.
He didn't call the Coast Guard to look for Nolan Wells, bitch ass nigga. He called the Coast Guard to help them because their boat was malfunctioning.
He got back and he called the Coast Guard. Does that sound like a guilty man to you?
That's more what I was talking about before. Simply saying, if I were guilty, would I have done this?
Yes. I think we've all heard about the story. If it's not, I know this shit for sure happened to me. A motherfucker will steal your shit and then help you look for it. Because of course that's the easiest way to. There's been real stories of a husband who killed his wife and called the police and said, "I just found my wife dead." That's the easiest way to look innocent. That don't mean that you innocent.
Not in and of itself proof of innocence. As Lance Armstrong also said, like he said many, many times, if I were guilty, would I have allowed myself to have been tested this many times? Would I be the single most tested athlete on the planet?
Right.
If I were actually guilty of anything, would I have done this, this, and this?
Also, by the way, when he says if they just killed their friend, the single-handedly, all right, dumbest thing to do would be to call the Coast Guard. Well, when they asked him, hey, do you want the Coast Guard to come out? They said no. So when they asked him, do you want the Coast Guard to come out? They said no, we don't. No, don't send the Coast Guard out.
Verbatim. That's like
so you answer your own question. This is what y'all just gotta be quiet, bruh.
And that's why I say it's nothing that they have said since Nolan Wells has died. It's nothing that they have said that has been like no question, like, oh, okay, like, yeah, for sure, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Like, it's nothing they've said. Everything they said has been half fucking stupid.
Now, they said the reason why they didn't want the Coast Guard to come out was because they already had they were already being told, or they fixed their problem already, right? Like, they fixed the boat up already.
Right.
But then why would he say, hey, if you murder your friend, the dumbest thing you would want to do would be to call the Coast Guard? Well, they did. They said the Coast Guard shouldn't come out in that call specifically, and y'all heard it. So, I don't know if that was like a Freudian slip, right? But I don't know. Hey, listen, man, I ain't trying to get sued. I don't know if that was like the conscious slip, and I don't know, bruh.
I don't know either.
Don't know, man. And Don Lemon even touch on like how ridiculous this interview was as well, bruh. Like
it was
how
stupid.
They went ahead through every stop to present themselves as victims.
Yeah.
But when they were asked to provide examples on how they were victims, on how they were being harassed, they couldn't provide anything.
No examples.
And there's this like one incident that we covered in our last video on this where it was three of them. They all talked about the same incident, right? They all talked about the same incident, but they had different versions of the same incident. One person said, they told us they was gonna
kill us,
take our life.
Right.
The other person says,
I
never
heard
heard that. The other person says, no, somebody else told us we gotta leave because somebody else was gonna get us. It's
stupid ass shit.
If they have different stories about the same incident they just experienced, apparently like within the last like couple weeks,
right?
Then what makes us think that their memory is correct when they can't even get like a recent event correct? They can't even be on the same page with a recent event they all apparently experienced together.
And then also describing being recognized in public and people asking you about something you said or did or appeared in is not harassment.
Or
that's
threat,
called
or a threat of your life.
First Amendment. That people are able to say, hey, aren't you the guy on the thing? And didn't you say this? You have every right to walk away and say, thank you, nice to meet you, I'm not interested in that, and keep going. Now, if they get in your face and start pushing the phone and the camera in your face and all that, that's a whole different thing. Invading your personal space, that's a whole different thing. But someone saying, hey, young man, aren't you the guy that why would you say something like that? You don't have to participate in that. You can just say, I'm not interested. Or you don't have to say anything. You just walk away.
Right.
One of them described a woman recognizing him in a restaurant and showing him the earlier interview on her phone, one of his earlier interviews.
Right.
They left. And then according to them, some friends who stayed behind were allegedly threatened. Okay? Some friends who stayed behind were allegedly threatened. So, but we were specifically asking about the people in the interview who said that they had been harassed. Another example involved a friend named Trayston, supposedly being denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull at a store.
Yeah, defamation.
Now, Trayston is one of their African-American friends. And they're describing his experience with allegedly being harassed or whatever the interaction was. That may be harassment of their friends. It may be ugly behavior, but it is not the same thing as the three men sitting there describing repeated direct attacks against.
So the three people that are there with the lawyer saying that they suing people for defamation, they had examples of other friends being some sort harassed in some way, but they ain't got no examples of nobody that did shit to them.
Themselves. And when the interviewer kept asking for concrete examples, I kept waiting for one involving them directly.
It wasn't one.
Now, that does not mean that threats have not happened, but they're in an interview and they're answering questions. They also said that they have received death threats online. Awful. And I don't doubt that they have. I don't know. It means that when they were asked for specific in-person examples involving themselves, much of what they described involved other people around them. That distinction really matters, especially because they have hired a defamation
stupid, don't it?
If they're saying harassment, trauma, and pain is a part of why they're suing, defamation, you have to prove certain things, right? How did this affect your life, right?
Right.
If they're saying, yeah, we're being harassed, and the harassment that they quote unquote have is with their other friends who, by the way, conveniently was not at the interview, right?
Not even there, by the way.
A myriad of harassment claims, of threats, of everything. But the people who received the bulk or the worst of it conveniently was not present at the interview. Mm-hmm. If you're coming to do an interview to address the public, to address people, right? Wouldn't it be wise to bring the people that you claim are firsthand witnesses of the harassment and the threats, the people who you say they looked them in their eye?
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Ain't nobody did shit to them niggas, man. Ain't nobody did shit to them niggas, but rightfully say that they is suspicious. And that's literally
further explain some more unusual behaviors from them.
Again, I'm not saying that these young men did anything. What I am saying is simply stating you didn't do it and saying it would have been really stupid of me to do ... if I had done anything is not evidence of innocence.
Right.
We know that criminals often do really stupid things.
Exactly.
And get caught from doing the really stupid things that they do.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott.
This just seems odd to me.
All right, now these are all American young men, incredible young men.
Referring to them as all American young men
the fuck does that have to do with anything?
An interesting phrasing as he's talking about his friends, and harkens back to like the perception of like we are clean-cut, white, good young men who couldn't have done this.
Exactly.
That's intentional.
And they did a lot more than just that. I won't go through all of it now, but they did a lot of heroic things after the fact, and they did the best they could.
Whatever.
And they tried.
Why you not going through it? Why you not going through it? Go through it. Let us know what they did. Why you not going through it? You going through what happened to their friend, the other friend. Apparently, their life was threatened. You going through all. Why you not going through the shit they did that was heroic? Get the fuck out of here talking about heroic. They ain't Spider-Man, nigga. Motherfucker ain't come down from no damn web. They ain't even go look for their damn friend. Shut up.
For their dear friend. All of their actions are the actions of innocent men, not guilty.
Slimy ass lawyer.
And again, they are categorically, completely, and totally innocent.
I saw another clip where one of the young men referred to Nolan's mom as Miss Wells, which again I find odd because you're supposed to be his like friend and brother, and you would know that she went by either Wansley as her last name or Wells Wansley. When I think back to my childhood, I can't remember a single time mispronouncing my best friend's parents' names. I mean, it's just, these are unusual things. Now look, I don't know what these boys did or didn't do, and I don't know what they know or don't know. It could be just as likely that they saw something they're not saying that they saw. It could be like they know what happened to them, even if they didn't do it. They just saw the circumstance that led to it.
Right.
Maybe they know nothing and are completely innocent. I don't know. But when you make videos like this, you increase scrutiny. You increase the scrutiny on this situation.
And the only people they have to blame is themselves or the people advising them to do these stupid things.
Point exactly.